Chant the first 10 verses of chapter 7. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasyasi Tashrino Jnanam Teham Sabhijnanam Idam Vakshyamya Sheshatah Yajñatva Neha Bhuyonyat Jnatavyam Avasishyate Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschidhyatati Siddhaye Yatataamapi Siddhanam Kaschinmam Veti Tattatah Bhumirapo Nalo Vayuhu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha Ahankara iti yamme Bhinna Prakritirashtadha Apareyamitastvanyam Prakritim Vidhi me param Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho Yayedham Dharyate Jagat Yetadhyoni Bhutani Sarvani Tyupadharaya Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhava Prahayastatha Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya Mayi Sarvamidam Protam Sutre Manigana Hiva Rasohamapsu Kaunteya Prabhasmi Shashi Sudyayoho Pranavha Sarva Vedeshu Shabdhake Paurusham Nrishu Punyo Gandha Prativyam Cha Tejaschasmi Vibhavasau Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatanam Buddhir Buddhimatam-asmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. We continue with verse number 6. Till now we have seen the theory of creation. In fact, even to say theory is not necessary. The discussions about creation is to establish how the microcosm and macrocosm is Brahman. It's not so much to explain the creation. When Vedanta talks about creation and when they come out with their explanations about creation, They are not really interested in answering how this happened, because it's very clear that this cannot be, the creation cannot be understood. So that part of it is very clear. And still all literature, all Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita also comes up with its own explanation of creation. In all these explanation, what is trying to be established, what they are trying to elaborate, what they are trying to explain is how each and everything that is seen, the macrocosm and the microcosm, is Brahman. How to even intellectually understand that. Now, whether you actually see it or not is a different, whether you will be actually able to see it or not is a different point. First is to have an intellectual understanding, how everything is Brahman. Then only you will make an attempt to see God everywhere. If that and simply making statements, everything is God doesn't help. Or we have been hearing it for so long, it hasn't helped. Itself is the proof that it is not about the creation. It is about when in the process of explaining creation, it is explained how Brahman has become everything. Again, I repeat, when they explain creation, the process they adopt is they try to say how Brahman has become everything. If you ask, how can Brahman become everything? If you ask, how can God become everything? Then why God does all the... It means we have not gone through the basics rightly, clearly. So they talk about creation. And what is creation? What is the definition of creation? Creation can be defined as the production of an effect or a product from a cause. Creation is a cause or effect. Creation is an effect. And then there is a cause. Now, when they talk about a creation, take a simple example. I'm hoping to finish this in 15-20 minutes. After that, we'll go back to our normal study. What is creation? Creation can be defined as the production of an effect or a product from a cause. When we say a potter, so before I go to the example, the questions. When an effect is produced out of a cause, what is happening exactly? That is a question. Correct? But these questions doesn't bother us at all, sir. We have never had these questions. We are interested in the process. We are interested in the mechanism. What is it when an effect is produced out of a cause? What happens exactly? What is the mechanism? What is the process? Example. Take an example. The potter making the pot. The potter making a pot. When we say the potter created the pot, what did he actually create? The pot, sir. Where is the problem? Isn't it? When the potter created the pot, what did he actually do? What did he actually do? The clay that was existing, he modified and gave it a nama rupa. So what did the potter do? The clay that was there, he modified it into a nama rupa. Correct? It can be various pots, various, I don't know what all the potter does. The potter did not create the clay. The clay was ever present. So for all practical purposes, what is creation now? For all practical purposes, what is creation? Addition of varieties of nama rupa is called creation. Addition of varieties of nama rupa is called creation. So the potter's effort went into creating the nama rupa. So all the effort, all creation, all that is created has two factors now. What are the two factors that it has? From this example. From this example of pot and the potter and the pot has two things. What are the two things the pot has? The ever-present clay plus nama rupa. What is pot? What is pot? Ganesh, puriyudha? Huh? What is pot? The ever-present clay plus nama rupa. Creation plus addition of nama rupa. Sorry. Cos, formula mari potukonga, it becomes easy. Cos plus addition of nama rupa equals creation. It becomes easy. Creation means there is a cause and you add nama rupa. Clay plus nama rupa equals pot. What is nama rupa? Small pot, big pot, medium pot. Varieties of earthenware, isn't it? Infinite varieties of earthenware. Wood plus nama rupa equals furniture. You add as much as you want. Gold plus nama rupa equals ornaments. So the first lesson in creation is what? This is the first lesson in creation. What is the first lesson in creation? Cause plus addition. You don't create the cause. The cause is ever present. Isn't it? You don't create the clay, do you? Did the potter create the clay? The clay was ever existing. So from this we understand all that is an effect has two things. All that has come as an effect has two things. What is the effect? Now take the example. Now take the formula. Human being. What is a human being? What is the definition of a human being? What is the definition of a human being? First lesson we keep hearing all the time. Human being equals spirit plus matter. Human being equals spirit plus matter. Pot equals clay plus nama rupa. Correct? So there is the ever present cause. Are you okay? Where did the shape come from? The next question. Are you okay till now? Are you okay till now? It's not very complicated. Just to follow the Brahman and world alone, don't try. Try and understand the concept with pot and potter. Once you are clear with this story of pot and potter, go through this pot and potter any number of times. What all question comes, get a complete clarity on this, and then try and equate Brahman to world. Don't try Brahman to world simultaneously now only. Ukandana parallel, don't do that. You will neither understand the pot and potter nor Brahman and the world. Simply follow pot and the potter and the pot. The second question, where did the shape come from? Where does the potter bring the shape from? From his imagination, sir. One answer is, where does he come from? His imagination. From his imagination means, from his imagination alone can he produce the shape? It means what? The shape is not added by the potter. All shapes are already present in the clay. All shapes are already present in the clay. Recognizing that all shapes are present in the clay is knowledge. He is not creating it out of, don't say his knowledge, his imagination. Where does the shape come from? Are you able to follow? Where he gets the shape from? Where does the shape of the pot comes from? Of course, the potter only did it, but where did it come from? From the potter or the clay? Potter recognized all shapes are possible. All shapes are possible existing in the clay already. Are you able to follow? That's why they say when they see a stone, a good sculpture doesn't see the stone. The good sculpture sees the good sculpture sees the statue already, and he only chisels it. He only chisels it. It means, where is the shape? Where does the shape come from? Clay contains all the names and forms in potential condition. In potential form. What the potter did, he recognized the potential and he only brought it out. Isn't it? The potter does not do anything to the substance clay, but only brings the unmanifest Nama Rupa into manifestation. The unmanifest Nama Rupa is brought into manifest Nama Rupa. This is called, this Nama Rupa transformation is called creation. This Nama Rupa transformation is called creation. Therefore, wherever the potter sees all the earthenware, what he sees? What he sees? The clay plus Nama Rupa. The child sees. What does the child see? Only Nama Rupa. Similarly, when we see the world, we only see what? Nama Rupa. Missing that there is something fundamental, and that fundamental is Brahman. Recognizing that fundamental is bhakti. Recognizing that fundamental is devotion, bhakti. இது சொல்றதுக்கு தான் we have to talk about the theory of creation is to explain this. Otherwise, how you will all the creation theories, and still we keep saying theory because for you to sit and reflect and contemplate. For those who have sat and reflected and contemplated, it's not a theory anymore. They know exactly what happened. Are you able to follow? When Krishna says, I created everything, Krishna says, I created everything. When I say I created everything, I myself become that. Now the shift happens. This is where the subtlety happens. When he says, I created it, don't bring in the equation like the world maker and the world, like the pot maker and the pot. Here comes a subtle change. What is the first subtle change here we notice? I created it. When I created it out of what is the creation? He works backwards. What is the effect that you see? Nama Rupa you see. And what is the Nama Rupa made up of? 5 elements. Apara Prakriti. Connect now. Yeah. Sir, can you repeat Apara Prakriti, Para Prakriti? We can't do anything now, isn't it? I think third week we are still stuck with these 2 words only. Nobody is stuck, I am stuck. Yeah, you are all not stuck. I am only stuck with these 3 words. Now he is working backwards. What is he working backwards? You see the world. What is the world made up of? The 5 elements and the 3. We are not getting into the details now. So that is Apara Prakriti. Where did that Apara Prakriti came from? Where did Apara Prakriti came from? Krishna says, what question? What a question it is. It has come out of, what is the answer he gave? It has come out of me only. Since it has come out of me, whatever you see as Apara Prakriti is nothing but me. It's like the pot asking, where did you get the material to make me? Imagine the pot asking the potter the question. Where did you get the material to make me? Potter cannot say from me. Potter cannot say from me. Clay was existing separately. Irukra clay na 30, I made it into a pot. Avladhan. Nan chuma tatra aludha. I am not the creator. Chuma tatrathige I'm taking a Nobel Prize just for adike I am giving Nobel Prize, isn't it? You know the absurdity of all these Nobel Prizes and awards, no? Isn't it? For a human being congratulating another human being. This is an award, isn't it? The totality must award. One mosquito awarding another mosquito. Other front page news, other breaking news also that is. So when the pot asks this question, what is the question? Where did I come from? The potter cannot say what the potter cannot say. The potter cannot say you came from me. Brahman says you came from me, because the material cause for creation has a material cause and the creation has an intelligent cause. What is the material? Material cause means the matter. For the pot, the material cause is clay. For world, material cause is the 5 elements, etc. Now the question is, where did the elements come from? From me only. It means, what is the material cause? What is the material cause? Brahman is the material cause. Brahman is the material cause. Oh, if Brahman becomes a material cause, what happens to Brahman originally? Because in any creation, transformation of Nama Rupa is what we have understood. Are you able to follow? Transformation, creation is nothing but Nama Rupa. Does that mean Brahman also will change? Paraprakriti says, no, I don't change. Though it has come out of me, I remain the same. Example, though it has come out of me, I remain the same. Example, we saw examples. 2 examples we saw last class. The rope and the snake, the dreamer and the mind. The dreamer and the mind, the snake and the rope. Therefore, Brahman is the material cause, but Brahman didn't go through any modification. Seeing God everywhere is much easier than this, sir. Isn't it? People say, simply see God everywhere, sir. Why complicate? How can you see God? How can you see God everywhere like that? You follow what I'm saying? Therefore, Brahman didn't go through any modification. Just because the dreamer and the dream world came out of the mind, did mind go through any modification? Did mind go through any modification? How do you know that the mind didn't go through any modification? Okay, first question, did mind go through any modification? Yes or no? Yes or no? Anybody? No. How can you say no? How can you say no? How are you saying so emphatically no?
Because the breaker didn't show through.
Because you have woken up. Because you have woken up, upon waking up, you have realized what? Something happened, but nothing actually happened. Something happened, but nothing actually happened. Are you able to follow? Therefore, Krishna is talking about creation from what angle now? Krishna is talking about creation from what angle? He is talking about creation from the angle of the waker. So you have to understand creation not from the dreamer, from the waker. Able to follow? Never try to understand creation from the dreamer. For the dreamer cannot understand. If the dreamer asks, when did the dream start? The dreamer asks, when did the dream start? To whom he will ask? The dreamer asking this question, when did the dream start? To whom he is asking the question? To another person in the dream. And both of them and the wisest person in the dream coming and saying the dream started 100 billion years ago. Does that answer have any meaning? For who can give the right answer about the origin of the dream? Able to follow? Who can give the right answer about the origin of the dream? Who can talk about the maintenance of the dream? Who can talk about the dissolution of the dream? Who can talk about it? When we say who can talk means who can talk about it rightly. Anybody can talk, blabber. But when we say who can talk about it means who can talk about it rightly. Who can talk about it rightly? Who can talk about it rightly? About the origin of the dream, the maintenance of the dream, and the dissolution of the dream. Who can talk about it? Who can give you the right knowledge? Who can give you the right knowledge? Waker. Correct? Only the waker can give. When you are in the dream and you are asking these questions, a person says, I have woken up and re-entered and talking to you. And you have to accept that as the pramanam. You are able to follow? You are in the dream asking all these questions. One person says, I have woken up with that waking state, I am in the dream. Recognizing that I am the waker, I am still part of the dream. The dreamer has no choice but to accept and understand what he says. Similarly, when he talks about creation, he says, I am the Prabhavaha, I am the origin, everything came out of me, everything goes back into me. Obviously, the dreamer cannot intellectually understand. Carefully follow. The dreamer cannot intellectually understand as long as his identity is the dreamer. Again, I repeat, the dreamer cannot understand this at all as long as his identity is so strong with the dreamer. To understand this, what you need to let go of? The identity as the dreamer has to let go to understand the answer. That effort he makes to let go of the identity as the dreamer is called sadhana. That's called tapas. That's called sadhana. Whoever does it, they understand. What do they understand? Because he says, Prabhavaha, Pralayaha. I am the Prabhavaha and I am the Pralayaha. It comes out of me and goes back into me. The potter cannot say, the pot comes out of me, and when the pot dissolves, it doesn't go back into the potter, isn't it? Here he is saying, it comes out of me and goes into me. With all this understanding, when you see things around, you do this manana again and again and again. And when you start seeing things around, what will you start seeing? You see, all comes out of the same thing. What is that? Brahman, divine, God. You have to go through this analysis again and again and again. And don't worry. Yeah. In 8th chapter, he will give another analysis he will do in 8th chapter. Later on, he will do another analysis. You cannot escape this analysis. Why? Because it is this analysis that will help you to develop a conviction. What is the conviction? All that you see here is nothing but divine. You cannot brainwash yourself to believe it is divine, it is divine. You can't brainwash yourself. You can brainwash yourself. Or everybody is saying, you ask anybody, everything is God, sir. Then why this dvesha? Then why this anger? Then why this shoka? Then why this frustration? Where there is shoka, where there is worry, where there is anxiety, where there is frustration, it means you are not seeing the divine. If you see the divine, tatra ko shokaha, ko mokaha. He says, no. Tatra ko shokaha, tatra ko mohaha. Tatra kaha shokaha, tatra kaha mohaha. How can shoka be there? How can moha be there when you see divine everywhere? Sir, I can see divine everywhere, but Duryodhana I cannot see divine. Even Duryodhana is okay, sir, but Dushasana I cannot accept because how he insulted that lady. How Dushasana would have felt if his dhoti was pulled away, yeah? How Dushasana will feel if his dhoti is pulled away. Whether dhoti is pulled away or sari is pulled away, what difference does it? What difference does it make? The dvesha, the shoka, the moha, nothing exist. So, Prabhavaha and Pralayaha. He says, I am the origin and I am the dissolution. One of the extraordinary statements of Vedanta is these kind of statements. And we don't pay attention to these kind of statements at all. And if you don't pay attention to these kind of statements, you will never know Vedanta. He says, I am the origin and I am the dissolution. Everything comes out of me, everything goes back into me. If everything has come out of me, when it is existing, how it is existing? When it has come out of me. Are you able to follow now? Shankar, Kolattur. Politician பேர் மாதிரி ஆயிப்போச்சு இல்லையா? எடப்பாடி இந்த மாதிரி கொளத்தூர் அவ்வளவு அப்படி வரும் இல்லையா? அவர் கொளத்தூர் கவுன்சிலர் போல இருக்கு. Shankar Kolattur. Are you able to follow? When everything has come out of me, when everything is existing, how is it existing? How does it existing? It is existing as me only. But I am not able to see it. Everything is existing as me only. I am not able to see it. Why? Because pot na clay plus pot. No, why are you not able to see it? Are you able to follow? I don't know how Krishna, I don't know. Nobody can explain it more simpler than this, I think, the way Krishna explains it. But why are you not able to see it? Why? Because when you are seeing it, what are you seeing? When you see the pot, what are you seeing? When you see the pot, what are you seeing? Guru, what are you seeing? Clay plus Namarupa sollu. Only clay no sollakudadu. Are you able to follow? You should not say only clay. That's a wrong answer. Again, you should not say Namarupa. That's a wrong answer. What is the right answer? When you see the pot, what are you seeing? Clay plus Namarupa. Namarupa pata, you miss the clay. If you look at the clay, you understand the Namarupa. You don't miss it. Please understand. After clay pata, I'll miss the Namarupa. You will not go to the fellow and say, give me clay, you will not ask, isn't it? You will say, give me the pot only, you will ask. The pot made of clay. Are you able to follow? Wonderful is this. I am the Prabhavaha and I am Pralayaha. Everything comes out of me, everything merges back into me. If I am the origin and I am the dissolution, between origin and dissolution is what? Existence. Between origin and dissolution is existence. So, if the origin is me, if dissolution is also me, existence is also me only. But why are you not seeing it? Because you see two things. There are two things. What are the two things? Original material plus Namarupa. Clay plus Namarupa. Even when you see Namarupa, this is creation. Even when you see Namarupa, that Namarupa is also of clay only. That Namarupa is not an addition to clay. The Namarupa is not an addition to clay, correct? The Namarupa itself came out of, it was in potential form in the clay, then only it can be brought out, correct? Therefore, even when you see Namarupa, clay plus Namarupa, again you will misunderstand. Because human is best in misunderstanding everything. அதாவது ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் சொன்னா more than understanding, we are quick in misunderstanding. So clay plus nama rupa, if you say, don't think that nama rupa is an addition to clay. Nama rupa is not an addition to clay. Nama rupa is the very clay itself is in that nama rupa. So in sadhana, where are we starting from? Recognizing the clay itself is the nama rupa. The clay itself is a nama rupa. Because of you seeing the nama rupa, you don't call it as clay, you call it as, because the focus is on the nama rupa, you call it as pot. Because the focus is on the pot, you call it as nama rupa. The moment the focus shifts to clay,
Both clay and
clay plus nama rupa. Now the advantage of seeing the clay is what? Is the conclusion. Ithoda I stop. The moment you understand the clay, you have an advantage. What is advantage?
you can see clay and nama.
You are very clear in seeing both. If you see only nama rupa,
You miss the-
that is the advantage. That's what knowledge does. The person who understands the clay understands the nama rupa. The person who is stuck with nama rupa doesn't understand nama rupa or clay. Since we are stuck with nama rupa, neither we understand nama rupa rightly, nor we understand the clay rightly. What knowledge does? It explains it so beautifully, so thoroughly, so that wherever nama rupa word is used, world is nama rupa. What is world? Nama and rupa. We have seen that any number of times. And wherever the word nama rupa is used, have you ever equated it to the material? Because you get carried away by nama rupa. The person who doesn't get carried away by the nama rupa understands one thing clearly. What? He has seen the pot, he has seen the clay. So the person who sees the clay has the complete knowledge. The person who sees the clay, you can't say he doesn't see the pot. He rightly understands pot. The person who's stuck with pot neither understands the pot nor he understands the clay. I am Prabhavaha, I am Pralayaha. I am the origin and I am the dissolution. He only makes a beautiful statement. I am the origin and I am the dissolution. And from now on in the Bhagavad Gita, he will make the statements any number of times. I am the origin, I am the dissolution. I am the origin, I am the dissolution. I am the origin, I am the dissolution. Understanding this I am the origin and I am the dissolution makes you to understand how all that you experience is only nama rupa. Actually, there is no creation. Actually, there is no creation. This nama rupa transformation is called creation. It means what? Creation is the manifestation of nama rupa upon the substance. Which substance remains the same before and after. That is why to understand this, you have to combine the two examples. That's why I'm always combining the two examples. What are the two examples?
No person.
The pot and the potter, baker and the dreamer. You combine these two. Because we all understand, because of the limitations of human intellect, every word, every example that we give has a fallacy. We understand that, we accept that. That is the limitation of it. We can never give a perfect example. There cannot be a perfect, complete example. For all examples has its own limitations. Even the dreamer and the waker has its own limitation. What is the limitation? The dreamer need not make any effort to wake up. Here the waker has to make so much of tapas. So from the angle of tapas, the waker dreamer will not help. You able to follow? This is called clarity. There cannot be a complete example. So what do? We take one examples. We take one example and understand that one point that example is conveying, and take another example and take that point that example is conveying. Understand this separately, understand that separately. Over a period of time, when you keep doing repeated manana, over a period of time, when you keep doing this reflection again and again and again, as Swamiji always says, the penny drop will happen. It will drop. The penny drops. The penny drop, sir. The penny is not at all dropping. First, you should have the penny not to drop. Where is the penny to drop? Understand this separately and understand that separately. This is 6. Aham Kritsnasya Jagataha. Everything. Aham Kritsnasya Jagataha. Not Krishnasya Jagataha. Aham Kritsnasya Jagataha. It came out of Prabhavaha and Pralayaha. Prabhavaha, origin. Pralayaha, dissolution. This is verse number 6. To summarize, 2.5 hours of confusion. How to summarize that? I don't know how to summarize, but I'll attempt. You have to see the reality. That is knowledge. How to make a person see the real is the difficulty. How to make the person see the real is difficulty. It means what you are seeing is wrong has to be proven first. If what you are seeing is wrong has to be proven. That is why anything that you come and say, the guru keeps on saying you are wrong, you are wrong, you are wrong. You get very angry. You get very angry. Why you get very angry at the guru? Very difficult to be with the guru. Huh? Either you become numb and immune to the guru, to whatever he says, you can survive. That one way of surviving is become immune to whatever he says. You can survive. Another way is rightly understand. And that rightly understanding is what we are trying here. What is the right understanding? Anything that you come and say, the guru will say. Anything that you say, the guru will come. Anything that you say, the guru says, Neti, Neti, Neti. Neti is a very diplomatic way of saying you are wrong. Correct. Neti is a very diplomatic way of saying you are wrong. Not this, not this, not this. Agree sometimes no. At least agree out of 10 times. Agree 1 or 2 times no. Says no. Agreement will not happen. Why? Because what is knowledge? How did I start? How did the summary start? How did the summary start? To make you see the real. To make you see the real. If you have to be made to see the real, constantly it has to be proven. What?
You are wrong.
All that you are seeing is wrong. Ego cannot agree. Because by default, because what are you coming and saying? What will you come and ask the Guru all the time? Why is that person like that? Why is this person like that? Why did that fellow did that? Yeah. Why Bhishma didn't do? Why Duryodhana did? So all the time you are asking questions about, all questions that you ask is always about these things. And what is the answer that is given? Huh? You are wrong. And you get very angry. You say, what do you mean you are? Oh, does that mean he is right? That's the, are you able to follow? Immediately you will ask, when it is said you are wrong, immediately how do you conclude?
The other is
Yeah. These kind of kutarka thinking, you have to come to vitarka kind of thinking. This is called kutarka type of thinking. From kutarka type of thinking, you have to come to vitarka type of thinking. When it is said you are wrong, you are wrong. But that person, you have nothing to do with that. Are you able to follow? You have nothing to do with that. So, all that you are seeing, if proven as wrong, then there is a right knowledge. What is the right knowledge? I will not go by what I see. Seeing here means understanding also. Whatever I understand is wrong. It means I will not go by what I understand. That is what he says in one sentence. Do not take things for granted. Not to take things for granted means this. That's how intellect grows. Now, where does the intellect grow? Not to take things for granted. There are certain things that is granted. Yeah. So you don't go and ask unnecessary questions. Don't take things for granted. You will not ask weird things. Are you able to follow? Even if you want to ask, doesn't matter. From Kutarka, one day we will mature to Vitarka, isn't it? Therefore, to make you, what are you seeing? Now what are you seeing? Nama Rupa. Now what are you seeing? Nama Rupa only. Only Nama Rupa. Pinnadi or clay irukundrathe. There is no suspicion that there is a clay. For you see the Nama Rupa and so carried away by that Nama Rupa without even suspecting that there is a clay behind it. So, how to make you see there is the Nama Rupa, and that Nama Rupa is nothing but manifestation upon the substance, and that substance remains the same before, during, after. And that substance remains the same before, during, after. When you do this manana again and again and again, a conviction develops. What is the conviction? You are seeing Nama Rupa and you make an effort to bring in Nama Rupa plus the clay. It's not when we say plus in the addition. Plus in addition, isn't it? Plus the clay. No. That also, I will not call it like that. I will not say plus. What do you say? Nama Rupa is the clay. Nama Rupa is the clay. Conclusion. The person who can see the clay can see the Nama Rupa also. What is the difference between the two fellows? who sees the clay and Nama Rupa, who only sees Nama Rupa. What is the difference between the two? Only Nama Rupa is carried away. Shoka. Tatrako shokaha, tatrako mohaha. Anga shoka moham da irukum. If you see only Nama Rupa. If you see Nama Rupa is the manifest, it is the manifestation. Avyaktam, Vyaktam. Later on he is going to use two words. Manifest and unmanifest. So it is the, all these Nama Rupa is the manifest form of the clay. So as you are interacting with the Nama Rupa, you understand you have nothing to do with this Nama Rupa. When you understand as you are interacting with this Nama Rupa, you have nothing to do with this Nama Rupa. What is that state called? That state is called detachment. That state is called Vairagya. That state is called detachment. That state is called objectivity. That state is called sannyasa. Any word you can use. Vairagya, detachment, sannyasa, objectivity, all are used. All words are synonymously used.
Sakshi.
Sakshi, put that also. Witness. Put that. Beautiful are these words. Sakshi, sannyasa, Vairagya, all means the, all are synonymous. This is the summary. And so from now on, when you look at the Nama Rupa, first Nama Rupa that you look is what? Correct. First Nama Rupa that you see is Modalla I vandutu appranda mind varum. First comes the I, and then comes the mind. So first Nama Rupa that you encounter is what? So what do you do? In you, you start segregating the two. In you, you start segregating the two. And when you can segregate the two in you, then it becomes so obvious in the other. Only when you can segregate the two in you, it will be obvious in the external. Are you able to follow? So what do you do? The first Nama Rupa that you encounter, Venkatachalam, you are right. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like congratulating myself because when somebody gives the right answer, I take the credit for that. Ganesh, when you give the wrong answer, punishment is for you. And when you give the right answer, credit goes to Manohar. Yarga. It comes to me. What is the first Nama Rupa that you encounter? Subramaniam, you. So what do you do? Where do you start the segregation? From one's own self you start. What is the Nama Rupa in me? The body. Adukapram we know. Rest of the when the child is stuck in the, the child is stuck in the competition. Isn't it? The child is stuck in the competition. So there will be the teacher sitting in the pit. Isn't it? Prompting. Or it will start 8th line, if it forgets, where it will start again. From the first, it will go to the first. Yeah. First line, everybody will know that you have forgotten, isn't it? So the teacher will be there sitting the prompt. Yeah. Prompt. In you, you see, you segregate. Nama Rupa. What is the Nama Rupa in you? The body, the mind, the intellect. Okay, the Nama Rupa is body, mind and intellect. What is this body, mind, intellect made up of? Apara Prakriti. What is the body? What is the body, mind, and intellect made up of? Straight away the answer. Apara Prakriti. 5 plus 3, 8, 15, 31, 33 crores. It depends. The permutation combination can be infinite. Yeah, permutation combination can be infinite. And don't worry about the infinite things. It boils down to this. Apara Prakriti. So in me itself, there is the Apara Prakriti. In me itself, there is this Para Prakriti. If it is in me, it's so obvious that it is there in all beings. If it is there in me, it is there in all beings. Therefore, when you look outside, what will you look? What would you see? What would you see? Clay itself, temporary pot. What is there is clay, but temporary pot. So the pot that you are interacting with is temporary. The clay is the reality. And will you get affected by temporary? Everyone follow? Oh, its heart is breaking, heart is aching. You feel like all this we will see later, sir, but give a solution to my problem first. What solution can be given? One solution will be given and you will go and create another problem. Come back, same. Crying doesn't change, isn't it? Crying remains the same. Yeah, you will come and cry. You will cry, but what you cry for keeps changing, but crying doesn't. Crying is constant. Tatra ko shokaha, tatra ko mohaha. This is the summary. Verse number 6. Now we will go to verse number 7. Oh, I also want to move out of this.
Matta parataham nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. Matta parataham nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva.
There is not higher than me, O Dhananjaya. All this is strung on me as rows of gems on a string. There is not higher than me, O Dhananjaya. All this is strung on me as rows of gems on a string. Sutre manigana iva. Having given the technical explanation, he is giving one example to make it clear. He is not saying anything new. All that he has been saying in 4, 5, and 6 is giving one example. What is the example? Like the beads in a string. Sutre manigana iva. The string is not seen. The beads are held together is what is seen. The beads are only seen. The string that is holding the beads together is not seen. What you have to understand is, how do you understand this? Imagine, imagine a circular bead. Individually, the beads cannot hold themselves. Individually, the beads cannot hold themselves. Individually, they cannot interact with each other. They cannot hold themselves together. So all these beads are held together. What is it that is holding it? What is it that is holding the beads together the string. It is the string that is holding the beads together, and I am the string. And he says, I am the string that hold the beads together. I am the string that holds the beads together. From this, what do you understand? The string is not seen. Everything that is held together is seen. Beautiful example. You don't see the string. Are you able to follow? Venkatachalam. The string is not seen, but everything that is held together is seen. You see the totality, you see in yourself, there is everything that is held together. What is it that is holding everything together? You see everything held together. That's why we say the world is governed by the law of cause and effect. So everything is held together so beautifully. Everything is held together. So there is a beautiful manifestation. There is a beautiful, extraordinary expression, and everything is held together. One planet is home. How the planet is holding themselves against each other. So you see everything holding together, but what you don't see, that which holds everything together is not seen. By themselves, they cannot hold. By themselves, they cannot hold. That is obvious, isn't it? By themselves, they cannot hold. So it means something is holding everything together. And what is that something? What is that something? That something is me. That something is me. That something is me. Everything is held. So the avyaktam holds the vyaktam. Vyaktam is manifest. The string is unmanifest, in the sense not seen. Another beautiful example, and we keep quoting this example very often. Sutre manigana iva, sutre manigana iva, sutre manigana iva. For you to understand the sutre manigana iva, first you should be able to appreciate. What you should be able to appreciate? How things are held together, you should be able to appreciate. Only when how things are holding together you can appreciate, then you can understand what is it that is holding everything together. Supposing if you see everything as chaos, supposing you see everything as chaos, accident, if you start seeing accidents in life, if you start seeing chaos in life, it means it's not holding together, isn't it? But then what do you see? You don't see any accident. There is no accident at all. Correct? Yes or no? Sometimes yes, sir. Sometimes no, sir. Yeah. When I am driving the car, accidents happens. When I am not driving the car. So when you see everything held it together, what do you see? You don't see a chaos here. You don't see a chaos here. You see a invisible. There is something invisible that is holding everything together. So first you appreciate. What you should be able to appreciate first? What you should be able to appreciate first? How everything is held together. How everything is holding itself together. How seasons come sequentially, so properly. Day follows the night and night follows the day. One day by accident, if the sun says, I woke up late, what will happen? It never happens. It is held together. The totality, everything you see is held together. So first you appreciate what you appreciate first. How something is holding everything together. Sorry, First you see how everything is held together. That is the Sutre Manigana Iva, first one. So you appreciate the bead. How do you appreciate the bead? You don't appreciate the single bead. What do you appreciate? You appreciate the entire, what do you call that? I don't know, necklace, just for argument's sake. For argument's sake, keep it as, so you don't appreciate the individual bead. You appreciate how everything is held together. Once you understand how everything is held together, then comes the question. What is the question? What is it that is holding things together? What is it that is holding things together? And what is the answer? I am the string that hold the beads together. The microcosm and macrocosm. I am the string that holds the micro and macro together. And what you got to understand in this example is, the string is not seen. The string is not seen. Then only you understand the example here. It's not that, there are some malas where you can see the string. Isn't it? A gap, isn't it? Half an inch, 1 inch gap. Even this mala, there is a gap. So you don't see it together. Imagine all are held together. You don't see that. So what is the example that is giving here? You should visualize that example first, where you don't see the string at all. So what is the string that is holding everything together? It's me. I am the unseen string that is holding the seen beads together. I am the unseen string that is holding the seen beads together. Sutre Manigana Iva. From another angle, the string is the I that is holding everything together. From one angle, you can see it in this way. From another angle, what is the string that is holding everything together? The I. The I without Nama Rupa. The I without Nama Rupa. What is the I with Nama Rupa? I am the child. I am the youth. I am the man. I am the old man. I am rich. I am poor. I am intelligent. I am dull. I am the waker. I am the deep sleeper. I am the dreamer. I am nothing. I am everything. I am everything. I am nothing. All the suffixes are the beads. From another angle. Previously, we spoke about it from the angle of emotion bhakti. Now we talk about it from the angle of jnana. The prefixes and the suffixes. What is the string that is holding together? The one prefix that holds the entire suffixes together. The suffixes are many, like the beads. And what is the prefix? The I. So, again, from this angle also, you can say, I am when you see the suffix, you should recognize the prefix. Prasad, when you see the suffix, you recognize the prefix. And when you recognize the prefix, you understand how that prefix is holding everything together. So from the angle of jnanam, from the angle of knowledge, How do you understand it? Both are knowledge. What I meant is from the devotional angle, from the intellectual, from the intellectual angle. From the intellectual angle, what is the string? The prefix is the string. What is the suffix? That is holding it together. The infancy, the childhood, the youth, the manhood, the old age, different beads. These are the different beads. These are the different, correct? Distinct and different beads. No, are they the same? The infant is not the infant is not the youth is not the man is not the old man. The beads are different. But what is it that is stringing it together? What is it that is connecting it together and gives a sequence and makes it looks like a uniformity? What is that? The prefix I. And he says, I am the prefix I that holds the suffix together. The waker is different, the dreamer is different, the deep sleeper is different. At one point of time, you say, I am rich. At another point of time, you say, I am poor. All are different beads. But then you say everything is connected to I, one. Everything is connected to that I, and that I is the prefix. So, all the suffixes are held together by a prefix. And what is that prefix?
Me.
Obviously, Krishna. He says, it is me. That is, it is me. Me means Brahman, the reality. So, wherever you are using the suffix, whenever you are using the suffix, you are the prefix, but mistaking it to be the suffix. Whenever you are the suffix, even there the truth is the prefix, but then you get carried away by it and you miss it. Sutre manigana iva. Beautiful example. With the explanation that we have given, this example becomes easy to follow. Sutre manigana iva. So the prefix and the suffixes. The suffixes are distinct and different from each other. The prefix that connects all the distinct and different suffixes is the I. So it is the invisible I that is holding these distinctions and differences together. It is the invisible I that is holding these distinctions and differences together, giving it a beautiful expression called life, individual, etc. So, what is the conclusion? Arjuna, you cannot miss me. Why you cannot miss me? Because you can, all the time you are using the suffix, no? And as long as you are using a suffix, there is a prefix. So you cannot miss me. If I am holding you, the microcosm together, I am holding all the individual microcosms put together and make it like a macrocosm. First, you understand how he is holding the microcosm. And then you understand how individual microcosms are held in the same way. And then what is he doing? All the individual microcosms are connected together. And then that is the grand expression of the totality. This mighty grand expression of totality, all held together, is done by me. We can, at least we should appreciate the effort he is making to make us see the divine. At least that much we can appreciate. How much effort he is making to make us see it. That is this verse. Sutre Manigana Iva. Verse number 7. With this, we conclude for today, and we continue with verse number 8 onwards in the next session, because verse number 7 is already explained. There's nothing to revisit it again. So we'll continue from verse number 8 onwards in the next session.
Bharat has a clarification. Yes, posted.
அது அப்படியே கொஞ்சம் படிங்க, என்னெல்லாமோ இருக்கு. What is he? Where is he saying?
Namaskaram. Why different shapes are Nama Rupa?
Why different shapes are Nama Rupa? Why different shapes? It is infinite. Bharat. Since it is infinite, Nama Rupa has to be that, because what is the original? Original is infinite, no? Are you able to follow, Bharat? The original being infinite, I think our unmute pannu nanikren. Unmuted, okay. Bharat, are you able to follow? Why infinite?
Yes.
Why?
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Yeah. Why infinite variety of Nama Rupa? Because the original is infinite.
Infinite.
From infinite, finite cannot come, and finite cannot become infinite. Purnamada Purnamidam. Therefore, different Nama Rupa will be there because the original is that. Are you okay, Bharat?
Yeah. So Guruji, the problem I'm facing from my understanding is,
Yes.
I am not able. See, if there is, see, quite honestly, in a jocular way, standardization helps.
Yes.
Right. So even Swamiji says, why don't we standardize so that we don't have differentiation? My recognition, identification becomes easier when I standardize.
Correct.
I do understand, Ninga Sonnadu very true, that the Nama Rupa is, you should not see Nama Rupa alone, you should see along with the infinite this thing is there. Question is, why does it have to be in different shapes? So it leads to that much more confusion. And that is the reason why we are not able to fix ourselves on a single identity. And so that was the nature of the question.
Yeah, that why is because of Maya.
Maya.
That's Maya. That's the very nature of Maya. Because when you misunderstand the infinite, it has to be infinite expressions only. Since it is coming out of the infinite, just as the properties of the snake cannot be different from the property of the rope.
True.
Why it can't be just one Nama Rupa? It means the original must not be having infinite capabilities. Supposing, for example, if we say from a clay, only this can be made. This is not clay, but imagine this is the clay glass. If the clay can be made, modified only into one Nama Rupa, then there's no problem, no?
Yeah.
That's the question. If it can be made into one, then there is no problem at all, no? One, it is, why it is like that? That's the very beauty of the totality itself, because the potential, the avyaktam, is infinite. Because the potential is infinite, when it manifests, it will have infinite manifestations. So we have to, why the variety? Why can't it be just one species alone, and that species alone is Brahman? It becomes very easy to understand, isn't it? Why not only one and then say this one, only this is there and this is Brahman? It becomes easy. Why it is not like that? No, it cannot be done that way. Why? Because when it comes out of the infinite, it has to have the infinite expression. For your fixation purposes, carefully follow now. Reconciling. I am reconciling. What you meant by standardization is fixation. For fixational purposes, you can start with one. To fix the mind, for you to get fixed as in the initial stages, you can start with one. That is why we call it as Ishta Devata. You need not visit all the temples and churches and mosques of all the religions put together. You need not do that. Just have one and bring your entire focus on that. That one, you will understand it as many. So from the practical sadhana point, to start with, we say have fixation in one. But here, what is he saying the verse? We have to explain the verse here, no? The verse is saying, I am Prabhavaha, I am Pralayaha. It is coming out of me, it is going back into me. Now, how do we Taittiriya Upanishad says that, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that, it comes out of Brahman and goes back into Brahman. Now, how do we explain that? We have to give and there is an explanation for. Are you able to see the difference, Bharat?
Yeah.
So for the sadhana practical purposes, to start with, we say have a fixation. Standardization is a further grossification of fixation. Are you able to follow now? Standardization as a technique is given. Why? Because once standardization happens, you get into a fixation. Variety seeking will stop. Once the variety seeking stops, you become that much more available for an understanding. Clarity improves. Are you able to see the reconciliation, Bharat?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it works. So why the different shapes? Because it is coming out of the infinite. Now, when you are working backwards, you can't see the infinite straight away. On a practical standpoint, you start with one and see that one everywhere. Like Ramakrishna saw Kali everywhere. Meera saw Krishna everywhere. Andal saw Vishnu everywhere. Yeah. He saw Vishnu everywhere. She saw Vishnu everywhere. So similarly, you start with one. That helps in the fixation. Did I reconcile both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Bharat? Yeah. Right. Any other question, Venkat? I don't think there's any other. Is Nama Rupa the snake that I see? Chandralekha. Is Nama Rupa the snake that I see? Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Nama Rupa is nothing but that snake I see.
Yes, that is Nama Rupa. So, whenever I see the Nama Rupa, I make an effort to understand Nama Rupa is a manifest or a manifest form of the unmanifest. The Avyaktam has become Vyaktam. The Avyaktam has turned into Vyaktam. It is unmanifest that is appearing in a form. Is it okay, ma?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there's one more from Mr. Venkatachalam, sir.
Yeah. Oh, shift it. That was wondering. Okay. Only relay race. Venkatachalam, you mentioned all shapes pre-exist in potential form in Brahman. Is the purpose of the statement to say that creation never happened?
From a Brahman's perspective.
Yes. Yes. It is to make you understand that what you see is not what it is.
What it is.
All this explanation boils down to one statement, Venkatachalam. So much of elaboration they have to give. So much of explanation they have to give to convince you about only one thing. What you see is not what it is. If what you see is what it is, that becomes the truth. That becomes the truth. If what you see is what it is, it becomes the truth. So you see the world. Is the world real or unreal? No, you cannot say the world is unreal because the material is Brahman. So you cannot call it as unreal. Neither you can call it as real because it ceases to exist at one point of time. So where would you place it? Neither real nor unreal. The avyaktam has temporarily, the avyaktam from unmanifest, it comes into manifest and goes back. Are you able to follow?
Yes.
Extraordinary explanation they give.
Beautiful. And Krishna's Vishwarupam,
Yes.
all the sights of that he carries in that person is an indication, is an exactly the
Yes.
follows the
Yes.
state.
Yes. From now on, what he is going to do is that. Now, from what he will do from now on is, he will leave the Paraprakriti, Apraprakriti, and all that is stopped. Because too confusing now. Adale, yeah. Moon class, Adale, what none, it becomes too confusing. So what he does from now on, he takes the best of everything. All the so from now on, he will be talking about the Vyaktam a lot. He will talk about the manifest, and then every manifestation has an essential nature. And that essential nature is me. Every manifestation has an essential nature. And that essential nature is me. And that essential nature is me. He's going to talk about, he's going to take the discussion to a very different level. But if we have done a lot of study on this 4, 5, and 6, 7, it's very important to, it is very important to understand these 4 verses, because it is these 4 verses that makes you understand rest of the 6 chapters. Rest of the 6 chapters understanding is hinging on these 4 verses. Is it okay, Venkatachalam?
Yep. Such a fabulous explanation, sir.
Yeah.
One more question, sir. Mr. Vijayanath.
Mr. Vijayanath. எங்க அவர் இருக்கிறார்? Mr. Vijayanath. என்னப்பா மிஸ்டர்லாம் வேற சொல்றாங்க. Mr. Vijayanath. Correct. When we answer, who is answering? The prefix or suffix? It is only the suffix. Because from the angle of the prefix, there is no question, there is no answer. Wherever there is an interaction, the interaction is happening only in the medium of suffix. For prefix has no question, prefix has no
Answer.
Because to whom it can ask, to whom it will answer. Are you able to follow? Brahman need not reinforce, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Brahman need not reinforce that. So therefore, there is no talking about Brahman to Brahman itself. You know it, isn't it? You know it, and that knowing is a permanent knowing. Permanent itself is a wrong word. Because of some English, we have to use this. Are you able to follow? When we answer, who is answering? Questioning is by the suffix. Answering, questioner yarnu puriyanulla, appo answering comes. Correct? So the answering is by the suffix. Abdina, who's the questioner? சரியாப்பா? மிஸ்டர்னு வேற சொன்னாங்களா, எனக்கு தாங்க முடியல. மிஸ்டர் விஜய் நாங்களா, that I could not handle. Anyway, things that I could not handle of this Mr. Vijay. Bhaskar, please call him Mr. Vijaynath only. Yeah. Is it okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Acharya. Thank you.
Yeah. With this, we conclude and we continue with verse number 8 onwards in the next session.
Okay.